Ever wondered how a college kid from Texas ended up with his name on millions of computers and became one of the richest people on the planet? This isn't just a story about business. It's a story about seeing things differently. Let's dive into the incredible journey of Michael Dell. Our story begins not in a fancy boardroom, but in Houston, Texas, with a young boy who was always curious and a little bit rebellious. While other kids were playing outside, young Michael Dell was fascinated by how things worked. At just 7 years old, he applied to take a high school equivalency exam, eager to get into the world of business faster. His parents, an orthodontist and a stockbroker, encouraged his ambition but also wanted him to have a normal childhood. But Michael wasn't your average kid. His first real taste of business came from a surprising place: stamp collecting. He noticed that the stamp market was inefficient. People would gather at auctions, but there was no organized way to trade. So he started his own mail-order stamp business, creating a catalog and selling directly to other collectors. He earned about $2,000 from this venture. This was his first lesson. You can create a better system by cutting out the middleman. Next, it was newspapers. As a teenager, he got a job selling subscriptions to the Houston Post. The company gave him a list of names to call. But Michael thought, why call random people? He figured out that the people most likely to subscribe were those who had just moved into a new house or gotten married. So he hired his friends to gather names of recent mortgage applicants and marriage license recipients from the county courthouse. His targeted approach was a massive success. That year, he made $18,000, which was more than his high school history teacher. After high school, Michael enrolled at the University of Texas at Austin, planning to become a doctor to please his parents. But his real passion was still computers. This was the early 1980s, the dawn of the personal computer age. He saw that PCs were sold through retail stores. The stores would buy components, assemble them, and then mark up the price significantly. The problem was the technology was moving so fast that by the time a computer sat on a store shelf, it was already becoming outdated. Living in his dorm room, room 2730 in Adobe Center, Michael started a side hustle. He began buying excess inventory of computer parts from IBM dealers at a discount. He would then upgrade these PCs with better components like more memory or bigger hard drives and sell them directly to friends, students, and local businesses. He could offer a more powerful, customized machine for a lower price than the retail stores. Why? Because he had almost no overhead. His business was his dorm room. He quickly realized he was onto something big. He was making thousands of dollars a month, far more than any typical college student. The floor of his room was covered in computer parts, and his business was taking up all his time. He had a tough conversation with his parents. They were worried about him dropping out of pre-med. Michael made a deal with them. He'd give his business a real shot over the summer. If it didn't work out, he'd go back to school. So at just 19 years old, with $1,000 in his pocket, he officially dropped out of college and founded PCs Limited in 1984. His business model was revolutionary for the time. It was called the direct model. Instead of building computers and hoping people would buy them, he would take orders from customers first. They would tell him exactly what they wanted, which processor, how much RAM, what size hard drive. Then, he would build the computer specifically for them and ship it directly to their door. This had huge advantages. First, the customer got a custom-built machine. Second, because he built to order, he didn't have to worry about unsold inventory becoming obsolete. This kept his costs incredibly low. Third, by selling directly, he cut out the retail middleman and passed the savings on to the customer. It was a win-win-win situation. The company grew at an explosive rate. In its first year, PCs Limited had sales of over $73 million. He changed the name to Dell Computer Corporation and focused on building a reputation for quality and customer service. If a customer had a problem, Dell would send a technician to their home or office to fix it. This was unheard of at the time and built tremendous brand loyalty. In 1988, just 4 years after starting in his dorm room, Michael Dell took his company public, raising $30 million. At 23 years old, he was suddenly a multimillionaire. But he was just getting started. Throughout the 90s, Dell continued to refine its direct model. They were one of the first companies to embrace the internet, launching their website in 1996 and allowing customers to configure and order PCs online. This made the process even more efficient. Within a few years, they were selling millions of dollars worth of computers online every single day. By 2001, Dell became the largest PC maker in the world, surpassing giants like Compaq. Michael Dell's vision of cutting out the middleman and selling directly to the consumer had completely disrupted the industry. He proved that you didn't need a physical store to build a global empire. Of course, the journey wasn't always smooth. The rise of laptops and later smartphones and tablets changed the computer landscape. The PC market started to shrink, and Dell faced intense competition from companies like HP and Apple. The company stumbled, and in 2007, Michael Dell, who had stepped down as CEO, returned to lead the company through this new challenge. He knew Dell had to evolve beyond just selling PCs. In 2013, he made a bold and risky move. He took Dell private in one of the biggest bouts in tech history. This allowed him to restructure the company away from the constant pressure of quarterly earnings reports from Wall Street. He wanted to transform Dell from a PC company into a full-service enterprise technology provider, offering everything from servers and storage to software and IT services. A few years later, he orchestrated the largest tech acquisition in history, buying the data storage giant EMC for $67 billion. This solidified Dell's position as a powerhouse in the enterprise tech world. Today, Dell Technologies is a massive, multifaceted company, and Michael Dell's net worth is in the tens of billions of dollars. His story is a masterclass in entrepreneurship. It teaches us the power of identifying inefficiency and creating a better system. It shows the importance of listening to customers and giving them what they want. And it proves that you don't need a grand, complex plan to start. You just need an idea, a willingness to work hard, and the courage to challenge the way things have always been done. From a dorm room to a global tech giant, Michael Dell literally built an empire by thinking outside the box, or in his case, by getting rid of the retail box altogether. What a journey. It really goes to show that a simple, powerful idea can change an entire industry.